Welcome to the Museum of Australian Democracy at Old Parliament House. Tonight is the second in our series of Uncensored Conversations. Today's conversation is going to focus on how involved the government should be in our democracy. When should the government step in and when should it remain hands off?
I couldn't come and talk on this sort of thing without mentioning the Hicks matter and Guantanamo Bay. And it was always, I suppose, for those of us involved in it, that holding of people beyond the law was a serious breach of law in a democratic country. And these people were taken down to Guantanamo Bay with the deliberate intention of taking them beyond the law. And, you know, the Australian government supported that fully. I think they were the only government in the world that supported what was happening in Guantanamo Bay, and I just found that absolutely astounding. What happens when you take people, when you take non-citizens, particularly non-citizens, beyond the law? It means those who are dealing with them down there also believe they are beyond the law. So the guards down there would tell them that, you know, we are beyond the law here. We can do anything we want. We can take you outside and shoot you, and no one would know because they don't even know you're here. That sort of stuff is what happens when a government steps over the line. This is going beyond the rule of law. Once you do that, you free up all these people who are guarding or doing the work down there. They think they are beyond the law and believe it. And so they act in a way as if no one can ever do anything to them. And they're right. Where is the line for the government? For me, the government steps over the line when they deliberately cause harm to individuals, whether they are Australian citizens, or particularly Australian citizens, because they're the ones that I tend to work with. And when that happens, I think that's really beyond the pale. We're pretty lucky where we are. You know, you get a fair trial, generally they get the right outcome, and I think for us, or for me, that's what democracy is about. So it's very easy to lose what we have, and that's why democracy must be guarded.
In answering this question, where is the line for our government, say that democracy is shaped by nations' temperament, history, and how it thinks about these issues. Democracy, and I did say sometimes it does get overrated in what it can achieve, always has a particular flavour, often a flavour frozen by the particular settler ideology of rights at the time. That's also part of our story, but it's a pretty good story. The test of really a democracy is how it protects its minorities when it's totally unpopular to do so. And I was one who supported a human rights charter. I'm very sorry the Rudd government has put it on ice. I felt it had really strong educational import about the importance of human rights. I felt it offered some strengthened protections, and it really takes courageous people, because politicians won't do it, having to get re-elected, who have the ability to appeal to something like a Human Rights Act to stand up in unpopular times for minorities. I think it's a fundamental part of democracy. We need global governance because almost all the challenges facing us are actually global. So talking about national and democracy is almost like missing the pointer.
You know, we live in a country where our heroes are, you know, a bunch of football players, or, you know, the people. We don't celebrate the people that we should in this country, the great scientists, the people who are making a real contribution to the world. I think that's a real pity.
There's not much that you're required to do for your citizenship, apart from know who Don Bradman was. And
his average.
Yes, and his average. But the one thing you are required to do is actually focus for enough time to go into that box and vote, and it ensures at least a government says there's a mandate where it's voluntary and you're getting less than 30% in some places voting. How does there ever meaningfully a mandate? I don't think that's imposition. I think that's the content of citizenship, and that's why I'm proud Australia does it.